Hey, what's up? Welcome to The Record Deal. I'm your host, B. Humble. We'll be focusing on the history of different artists, their music, the bands that helped mold those hits, and licks that inspired a generation. Let's get started and clean out the record grooves of Phil Collins. This singer-songwriter couldn't stand Paul McCartney. He was an Alamo historian and an artist that took the air out of the room, even for Ozzy Osbourne. Born in 1951 in Hounslow, West London, he spent his childhood on the River Thames with his mother and father. Mr. Collins' early influences were mainly Ringo Starr of the Beatles, and the drummer from West London band The Action, where he was initially exposed to Motown Soul. He started performing concerts at the Cabin Club 2 to 3 times a year, starting at the age of 5 years old. His mother, who was at the time a talent agent, his father was an insurance salesman. Privately, they wanted him to be a sailor, but outwardly encouraged Eric to go into insurance, as was the family business. In high school, Phil played in the band The Real Thing, followed by the Flaming Youth, who would be responsible for lesser-known albums like Arc 2 in 1962. Phil joined Genesis in 1970 as a vocalist. 9 years later, a TV show, Miami Vice, propelled Genesis even further into fame with the song In the Air Tonight. Multi-nominated and winner of various Grammys and Oscars, totaling a massive 21 wins and 35 nominations. While in Genesis, he also played in Brand X from 1975 to 1977. Phil joined John Goodsall, Atomic Roosters guitarist, Robert Lumley, David Bowie's keys collaborator, and Percy Jones, ex-Liverpool Scene bass. With technically designed Mind Distortion in the Moroccan Roll album, this was a celebration of jazz fusion with artists who were subject matter experts in their instruments. Phil also worked with our latest artist on the turntable, Eric Clapton, from 1986 to 1987, and several major charity fundraising events like Live Aid, later featuring Eric on his song, I Wish It Would Rain Down. On March 27th of 2022, Phil spoke for the rest of Genesis when he said, "It's the last show for Genesis, and that they all now have to get real jobs. I can see Phil Collins at my local Walmart as a door greeter now, drumsticks pointing at bad little kids menacingly." And with that, we must close for now. We covered Phil Collins this time, but there are so many more artists and albums to go before we get to the bottom of the record stack. Who do you think should be next? Leave a suggestion in the comments. Like what you're seeing here at Drum Theory Studios? Consider subscribing. Thank you for joining us, and look for notifications on our next episode of The Record Deal, when we drop the needle on another generation of defining classics.